Hello my fellow hammerheads and welcome to the latest lore part of the Lumineth Realm-Lords. In this video we will cover the culture and society of the teclian hemisphere of the Lumineth residing in Hysh. Before we begin, I recommend that you buy and read this battle tome for yourself, because only this way we can support Games Workshop and their authors and you can enjoy the unabridged story for yourself. This video is going to be a more extensive one, so if you want to know about one specific topic like the runic mandala or one specific great nation, you can find the timestamps in the description below. The Hysha-Mhensa. When the brilliant war hosts of the Lumineth march into battle, they do this with merciless pragmatism and aesthetically pleasing arrangements of their troops. They form curves and lines in sympathy with the landscape. The Hysha-Mhensa, a runic mandala which represents the twin gods of the realm, is the centerpiece for all of this. The core mandala has two sides, very much like Hysh itself. The left Tyrionic hemisphere, typified by the emanation of brilliance, the sun, or in Hysh's case, with the blinding magical edge of the realm. This hemisphere represents inspiration, purity, and quickness of action. Without doubt, this is the side which is symbolic with the warriors of the Lumineth. The oldest of them include the ladies and lord regents of the military, content only to let their excellence speak for itself. The right teclian hemisphere is typified by reflection, refinement, deliberation, and thus by Selena, the true moon of the realm, which reflects the light of the realm's edge and acts as a beacon even when Ugu's obscuring influence rides high. The oldest of the Lumineth includes philosophers, sorcerers, bards and scribes. The more practical use might be an adaptation of smithing or woodworking, but as it must be, there are a few souls which exists in between, part sun, part moon. Warriors and sorcerers alike, they wield both disciplines with grace and might, merging the two into devastating combinations. Some believe this state to be the purest of all, but the fact that Tyrion and Teclis are two separate beings, it is difficult to say what is true. At the core of the Hysha-Mhensa are the four Hyshian aspects: water, mountain, wind and light. Like the rungs of the teclamentary, it becomes more difficult to master the later. While there are tens of thousands Ildrilith, the water warriors, there are at least thousands Alarith, the mountain warriors. Unknown numbers, but less than 1,000, are the Orialith, the wind warriors. And the rarest of them all are the Talarith, the light warriors. The Talarith are like the war forms of the Elementary, and they enjoy a legendary status within the Lumineth society. The four great nations. One of the four great nations on the teclian hemisphere is Ymetrica, the science of the peaks. Ymetrica, a nation with vast mountains, some of those so grand that they pierce the thin clouds of the realm to touch the zenithal walls high above. This may be the reason why the Ymetricans believe that if you climb higher, it's easier to get enlightened. After the Okaridara and Teclis' teaching on how to commune with the realm itself, the Ymetricans were the first to commune with the mountains. Unsurprisingly, there are by far more temples dedicated to the mountains than in any other great nation. Since the Necroquake and the Soul Wars, Ymetrica walks has become a literal truth. Not only were the warriors accompanied by a few mountain spirits, but by whole chains of mountains as well. Victory was inevitable. As with every symmetry in Hysh, there are many chasms in Ymetrica, and the Ymetricans believe that to descend down there would be a journey of introspection and mental delving. Only those with a close bond to the mountains can dare to venture so deep, because only their link to the spirits will help bring them back. The triangle is the motif which you will see everywhere in Ymetrica, because it symbolizes their affiliation with the mountains, and the Ymetricans will drop the fact that they were the first to commune with the realm in almost every other sentence. In war, they emulate the mountains themselves, and thus they plant their feet onto the ground and become an immovable wall. Rather to think than to act quickly is a virtue for them. The Ymetricans are a defensive army, rather being the anvil with the Vanari and the Alarith, so the spirits of the mountains can be the hammer to crush the enemy before them. So they spend a day of contemplation before the fighting begins, and the whole battle is a vast thought experiment. The second great nation is Syar, the makers of wonders. If you are very confident in your crafting skills, it is nothing compared to those of the Syari. But if someone is to say your work is of Syari quality, it is a high compliment indeed. Their arsenal includes many eldritch weapons, and spellbooks of destructive energy is stored in their libraries. During the Okari Dara, the Spirefall, those who swore never to use these weapons and spells were the ones to break those oaths. After the traumatizing events of the Okari Dara, they again swore to never create such destructive artifacts again, instead concentrating on fashioning beautiful things that were built to last. But Teclis convinced them that the forces of chaos would become more and more powerful every day, and that the Realm-Lords would have need of their craftsmanship. Even though the Syari are clad in richly colored garments and jewelry, they are never showy or gaudy with it, for they walk a fine line between grandeur and aestheticism. They even tattoo their skin with calligraphic forms of Teclis' teachings. Every year they hold a festival of artisanry in the capital city, Ar-Enasak. If you want to participate, you have to venture through sentient chasms and brave the dangers, and only the most gifted make it to the city gates. They are tales of Grugni worshipping Druadin, who try to show off in these festivals, only to be humbled by the transcendent quality of the Syari. In war, the concentration of ether quartz they muster displays their wealth for all to see. With this move, they goad the enemy into an enraged state to take them down with ease as they flimmer like a false dawn on the horizon. The humility learned after the Okari Dara is quickly cast aside in times of war, as they show no restraint to crush the enemies into dirt. But everything they use in these times of war pales in comparison to the artifacts back during the Okari Dara. The third great nation is Iliatha, the mothers of the spirit. The matriarchal society puts great stock in the propagation of life, both through the creation of magical simulacra and naturally. This led them in the past to great misdeeds, and has forced them to a more puritanical outlook, and they are by far the most numerous of the Hyshian nations. Light for the Iliatha is not only to simply shine, it must regenerate and replace itself. Not like ether quartz, which will lose its light and become dull, or a soul who vanishes from history. So they believe that they have to sire young and teach their offspring to exceed their parents in all things. Only this way the elven race has a chance to become even more enlightened. Mothers and motherhood is sacred in Iliatha. Not only the light of Hysh, but the inner light of the soul of the elven race in itself, as they are the ones who carry and shepherd this light in their wombs and bring it into the realm through their own birth rituals. During the Age of Myth, many have seen childbirth as an atavistic distraction, messy and unnecessarily painful. So they perfected the art of splitting their mind, even to a point in which they divided themselves bodily into doppelgangers with magical clones. They became obsessed with it, not stopping at one doppelganger, but expanding to multiple personalities up until to the point in which they broke reality. They were the reason which allowed the Slaaneshi demons to invade Hysh in the first place, and it is taboo to talk about it, even in the most reclusive parts of Hysh. Even to this day, some of the original clones are still walking amongst the Realm-Lords, and they are not welcome. Because of them, it is against the law to create more than 2 physical iterations per soul. In war, it is common practice for clone twins to study different military arts and to dress differently. All of this not to fall too far into the conspiracies of duplication. But they still fight together as wardens and sentinels in the Vanari war hosts. Only this way they can be each other's defense. They carry artifacts known as simulacra amulets with them, so should one fall, the warrior will manifest in fully fledged and healthy clone, like a mirror to the dead one. And the first act after the manifestation is to destroy the slayer of the former incarnation. The fourth great nation, Zaitrec, the Lambient mystics. An unarmed Zaitreci elf is still a deadly foe. They are fueled by magic which runs through their veins as the air shimmers around them. Like an old wood elf from the world that was, who would use a bow and arrow to perfection. So can the Zaitreci wield magic at an early age, even mastering the most difficult spells at an age of 10 summers. They are able to talk to the distant moons, just like they are talking to close friends. The diffuse light when Ulgu eclipses Hysh isn't as devastating to the Zaitreci like to any other great nation. Due to their ability to commune with the celestial bodies, they earned a reputation to be moon-touched, and their knowledge let others believe that the realm's moons are indeed answering them. Teclis favors Zaitrec the most, as he frequently wanders through the great nation as he feels more connected to the raw magical energy. The Zaitreci share their magical gods insight, and so they take his teachings to the farthest corners of each realm. If you see a Lumineth walking through the different settlements and bastions of the humans, the Radin, or the other orderly factions, the possibility to encounter a Zaitreci is the highest, as they are not only mages, but ambassadors and diplomats as well. This way, they can use their gifts to sway the course of history to their needs. Each of their spire cities claims one of the moons as patron, and that piqued the interest of Selena and made the Zaitreci the most beloved realm lords to her. The phrase, "better to learn from the source than from the mouthpiece," originated from this society, as they are only paying cursory respect to Teclis and rather commune with Selena, which mildly annoys Teclis and amuses Tyrion. If you are skilled in the arts of magic, the Zaitreci will pay you respect regardless of race or creed, even the Duardin and their Cainite cousins. Lunar symbols and stylized depictions of Selena and Teclis are the most common to be seen on their robes. But the display of personal runes with the communed celestial bodies takes a great part as well. A few of them are so enlightened that they were gifted with a crest-shaped aura of light above their head, either an effect of the wisdom they received from the celestial bodies or their affection. In war, they are not only taught by Teclis, but by Selenar as well, so they turn their innate talents to the cause of war with their ability to bend the Hyshian light to their desires. They learn lightning fast. If an enemy should cast a spell twice, the Zaitrec will defend themselves against that spell with careless ease and adding the knowledge to their vast libraries of spells. The most talented mages are favored by Selenar, even bear gifts that protects them. So what do you think about the Lumineth Society of the 4 teclian Great Nations? Do you like the new law and differences between the nations as much as I do? I'm keen to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. I hope you will join us in future videos. So please have a nice day and stay fantastic. Bye bye.